everybody rise. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for attending tonight. Let's go ahead and get started. We do have everyone here tonight for a quorum. So we have the call for other business. I know I do have something that I wanted to add on tonight, which is have Todd speak on the boundary modification for the annexation, so we can get that completed. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to add tonight?
We should schedule, I didn't we should schedule our next workshop and the topic.
Okay. And I know we do need to, the Title 3 or is it Title 6? Title 3. Title 3.
And we need a little more time with water sewer rates.
Yes, we do. Water, sewer rates. And that'll be for the workshop. It'll be 4:30 that day, and that will put us on 17th? Yeah, 4 to 5:30, right?
Do you want to talk about the water sewer rates before then, Eric?
Do we want something before then?
I'm up for time before then if everybody else has got, an hour that they can carve out to kind of hash over it. You think an hour is going to be enough prior to the workshop?
I think so, plenty.
Okay. Does anybody have a specific day that they're not available to carve out an extra hour?
The 10th through the 13th, I'm not available.
Okay.
So before the 10th?
17th. What about the Friday the 14th?
It'd have to be really early.
Well, that's kind of the next thing.
Might as well.
Just wait for the next meeting if we're
Oh,
doing that.
yeah. So we could do, if you're at the 10th through the 13th, we could do sometime later this week if it works, if anybody's got specific times at work. I think the only day I'm not free is Wednesday evening. Otherwise, I can do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
So we'll have to...
Can't do Tuesday because
Yeah,
of
can't do Friday.
notification time.
Yeah,
Oh, we can't do Fridays. That's right, we're half day.
so we have to do Wednesday. or
Sounds like Thursday.
Thursday the 6th. Everybody free on that day?
Yeah, it's garbage day.
What time of day?
Whatever.
5:30? Is that okay?
Okay, and this is for,
Water sewer.
Water sewer rate,
oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
5:30 on the
June
6th?
6th, 5:30.
If we're doing a whole hour, can we do 5?
Well, I wouldn't mind early.
I'm down for earlier.
We can do 5.
5's all right with me.
Okay. So 5 o'clock on the 6th, is that good with you, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else that we wanted to add on there? All right, we will go ahead and move along. So I would accept a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, the meeting began at 6 p.m., not 7.
Okay.
For minutes.
Are you making notes too? Okay. All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, so we will go ahead and move on to department reports. For the PD.
So for the BD side, a couple of things worth noting. So we had the MMIW Department of Patch ceremony this last month. A few new policies and procedures that came out. Chief assisted with the escort for Toledo High School track and softball teams. I completed the equivalency course. And then as far as general stats, so we've had a couple of arrests last time and then some general traffic stuff with that. And then we also got the grant submitted for the additional officer position that we requested during our last meeting.
Anybody have any questions for PD?
No question, but I was looking, it was just an idea, have we ever thought about looking into like auctions, like police auctions and things like that to get gear for our future officer? Is that something that we can look at potentially doing, or is that?
There's a few different options that are out there, and this is stuff that's actually been discussed in the past as well, especially as we're moving forward with another officer position. As far as gear, it really depends on the type of gear, like
Yeah.
things like vests, we're not gonna
Sure.
use vests for officers, but things like vehicles and stuff, there's certainly options out there that we can explore.
Just something I saw and
Yeah.
oh,
Hey, these warning citations, are they gonna be emailed over? Or the same?
So the warning site, we don't have anything in the system on those, so they're not a sector site, so I'm not sure what those are referencing.
Okay.
This is kind of a PD thing, kind of a treasurer thing, but what can we do to get a better understanding of what our expenses are going outbound? versus
I'm working on
inbound?
that. I just got hooked up with JABS, which is the court system. I'm just waiting for my login info.
Okay,
So I'll know all the dispositions and what's been paid and what's still outstanding.
I just
So at
noticed,
the end of the year, I will have a report. It's gonna take some time, but I need to have access to that information. And right now, what I get sent over from the courts just tells me that like money's been paid towards this fund. It doesn't say from who. So there's no way to break it down until I can get access to the system. I don't know how Devin did it before. I can see that she did. She had a really good spreadsheet with everything broken down. I have no idea where she got that information from.
might have been coming from the county since.
The county doesn't-
Our report, our
County doesn't offer it, and it's not in Spillman, it's not in Sector. So I mean, unless I mean, there's a couple platforms that she had that I don't have access to, but from everyone that Taryn and I have talked to, JABS is what I need.
okay.
So
Just when I was, signing checks, I think we talked about that, but there's some frightening numbers in there.
right, and all of those that come in as far as expenses, or I have all logged already. So the outgoing money I have a really good record of. It's the incoming money that I don't know. I know where to apply it as far as the treasurer stuff goes, but I don't know where to apply it as far as the PD stuff. But I'll have that figured out at the end of the year.
Wonderful.
Anything further for PD?
I'll give it to you. We'll put it in Excel sheet.
All right, so we will move on to City Hall.
Carly's gone all week this week at a clerks conference. I think it's called Personal Development. It's the one that we approved her to go to at the beginning of this year. She will actually start to get certifications for clerk stuff, so she's probably learning a lot. We did not receive our records archive grant, which is kind of disappointing because we definitely need it. We still spent several hours on Friday going through records, and we've actually made a lot of leeway. I did find an old email in the stack of unfiled stuff from Visions Toledo that said back in, like, I don't know, August, September of 22, that they were willing to put $2,000 towards our Toledo Park cameras.
I believe that was the Lions Club, wasn't it?
yes.
Was it the Lions Club?
Club.
Okay, I have it down as Visions Toledo. But I did reach out to them and was wondering if they would still do that, and I did get a check from them, so that's kind of nice that we got that. And then, so Ordinance 800 has kind of been the ordinance that we've been going back and forth on with the nuisance stuff. It was Ordinance 799, and it got kicked back because at some point the title names had been changed. So we resubmitted it again, and basically Marissa sent us an email back saying it still does not comply with, how did she word it? It doesn't comply, like we're not able to submit it like that. So we went ahead and had Marissa start working on it. So we are going to have to do this nuisance ordinance again, and I still think we need to codify it because that's the biggest problem, is that our stuff is all over the place. So we're going to have to redo that one. So we're still not where we need to be with nuisances in order to write tickets.
And on that one, with her rewriting it and the number of times that we posted for it and sent stuff through, cost-wise, it's gonna land us about where? About $1,000 for that ordinance?
Probably less. Yeah, probably less
Less.
than that. It makes sense to just have it done right, especially when it's talking about, penalties, and because we're not codified, it's too hard for us to try to figure out
Okay.
what we're changing and what we're not. So I think that's it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anything new from Grant Osborne on the city hall inspection?
Yes, we received a preliminary report, and we have not even had a chance to open it up and look through it. It literally came in like 2 minutes ago.
Well, it's here
Yeah.
though, that's good.
Yes, it is. Somewhere to start.
Absolutely. That's better than what we had, which is nowhere to start.
Yes.
So that is, foundation is better
Yeah,
than nothing.
and we'll
So-
have something next meeting.
Um,
It's a large report, so.
All right, so we'll move on. We did not have anything new to report from Public Works this time. Everything's running as normal down there. So as far as for my report, the one thing I do have, or a couple of things I had to report on, I did hear back from the Soto family. There had been an email that apparently raised some flags for the school district. They said they are not willing to allow them to do it up there, so they are going to host it back here. I've already spoke with the fire department. They're going to go ahead and soak down the bank and stuff for us to make sure everything's good. They're going to keep it as far back as they can and go straight up so that we do not have impacts to the river. And then the other thing is, as was discussed in the Public Works from last month or last meeting, we are trying to get somebody to, well, we're doing the research and Rachel's digging into it on the problem that we had up at the funeral home and the broken pipe that was up there and where exactly that could have possibly happened from, if it was equipment failure. So we're digging into that. It is going to be a pretty substantial chunk. So that is something that will be coming to you guys to make a decision. We were thinking possibly asking to use ARPA funds for it, but again, it'll depend on what Rachel finds out. She's been digging through that, trying to reach out to all the companies that were involved, so. Other than that, that is all that I currently have to report.
So is that the 4th of July, they're going to come back with a special events?
Yes, yep, they're working with she's working with the Lions Club, and Ethan's already approved it all, and he's already got the paperwork rolling,
Great,
so,
thanks.
yep.
And we should note that the 4th of July is on a Thursday,
Mhm.
Thursday market day,
Yep,
which we just gave them permission to park back there.
we did,
Okay.
yeah.
They're done at like 7, aren't they?
Yeah.
6, yeah.
Six-ish, yeah. Okay, any questions? All right. On to you, Emily.
I have nothing to report except Happy Pride Month, so that's about it. So get your yards cleaned up for Cheese Days. It's in a month, so and I found it didn't happen this month, but maybe next year we'll do clean up Toledo. So I found it was pretty easy to get a huge dumpster, and it only costs about $1,000. So you know.
Yeah, I know Mike came in. We just we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
So if there's
It was
stuff
a
like
total
advertising or
kerfuffle for me.
anything,
Yeah.
there just has to be better communication. Because he came in like, where are we at? And I was like, I have no idea. Like, I knew you had talked about it a couple times, but
Yeah.
I didn't
Totally.
know what was needed
it
from
was
us.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, and then
So-
I know there was a contract that needed to get signed and
Yeah, and I didn't want to touch that. It was like, that's your
Yeah,
job.
and it had
Like,
to go in front of council.
No.
Yeah.
So I will be the conduit which through that flows, but I don't want to be the one that does the.
yeah, and we can keep an eye on the calendar too and kind of
Yeah,
hit you guys up and
So
see.
maybe that kind of thing could happen, like when I do my recycle thing twice a year or something like that,
Yeah.
So, anyway.
But same thing with Tuesdays. If the Lions Club or anybody's going to need anything from us, we
Yeah.
need a heads up. Because I know last year they came in for shirts and we were like, we're supposed to make shirts, like. So
Didn't you know? Yeah, so.
What you got to report?
I spent yesterday and today working on the water sewer rate thing, and I'll probably spend another day and then be ready for Thursday. That's about it.
I attended Discover Lewis County's presentation down at Steamboat Landing, and it was kind of a small group, but it was really fun to be there and participate in it, and it sounds kind of exciting what they might be able to help us with getting tourism people into town without overwhelming the town, but just cute little ideas, so
Yes.
hopefully that'll keep going. Other than that, don't have anything else.
I'd also noted that June is Pride Month, and it acknowledged that. And it had its beginnings in the 1970s back in New York City. I didn't realize that it reached back that far. And Toledo Presbyterian Church will be holding a Red Cross blood drive June 21st, and there are still slots available, and you can go online to see openings and sign up.
Thank you.
The 21st.
Can we just show up?
Mayoral blood is precious. You should
I know.
Yes, you can just
And
show
just
up.
wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Perfect.
the lovely people that are greeting all the donors will be able to tell you immediately what's happening.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I just was gonna tell you about the July 4th Thursday. So I'm done.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on. Committee reports. Do we have anything from the Planning Commission?
No, not from last meeting.
Perfect. And I don't see that we've got anyone from the Park Board here tonight. If I remember, I think we'll be meeting again. It's next Tuesday. So if anybody happens to know anybody interested in joining the Park Board, we are still looking to fill a vacant seat. So no public hearing tonight. We do have a special presentation. We've got the fire department here to discuss impact fees and address signs.
Yeah, so just to give you an update, as we stated before, to do the impact fees, right, we need to do our capital needs assessment. And we're in the final selection phases of awarding that to a firm. So that should hopefully be contract signed by the 11th of this month at our next commissioners meeting. And they're looking to aggressively to get started. As part of that contract, we gave them kind of in August as a commitment date to have that completed. That was originally kind of a date, I think, that was communicated here. But it also helps us because Lewis County is doing a huge capital facilities and their 10-year plan as well, and they're needing that from the fire districts as far as what our needs are, so it actually falls in line with that. So we seem to be on target with getting that done, and so by the August time frame, we should be able to have everything we need, including the formal proposal to establish our impact fees.
Perfect.
Okay.
And now that we have our assessment of our building, that should be able to help you as well. Hopefully, I mean,
It will, yeah. So we had talked to them about that, and so, where we would incorporate that if we're looking at, the potential of a combined facility, right? So the needs assessment is going to look at our specific needs from a square footage perspective, our growth needs. If we're looking at relocation or remodel, what our options are depending on footprint. The study of our building as far as how much work's needed to bring it up to code for ventilation and all kinds of wonderful things. And then whether or not we can add, right, ambulance bays, enough bedrooms, expansion, that type of thing. But even with relocation, that's when, of course, we're going to look at the greater impact as far as, what our response times are, how much that changes if we were to move so far out of the town center, that type of thing. But with both the remodel and the relocation, we are also going to then come back to you as far as what your needs are, because if we're looking at a combined facility for all city services, they would then be able to take your assessment and ours and look at any overlap. For example, if we don't need, if we have a common entrance to the facility, or if there's, infinite number of restrooms that we can scale down because we could share some of those, common rooms and buildings in the building that we might be able to share, they could strip that back.
yeah.
So at least with the initial assessment for both of us, it's kind of like the largest expense, right? The biggest,
Yeah.
If we didn't have a choice but to go our own way, this is what it's going to cost. It would be cheaper if we looked at some sort of a combined operation. So, but yeah, that is the second phase. So that would be after we do our initial impact and we get our study done. They would then engage with your firm and whatever documentation you have and help put it together for us, and they would do a full comparison. so that they could see what is the biggest, the cheaper option or just the best available option depending on what we're trying to accomplish. So.
And I know I have been seeing that you guys have, it seems like, put up quite a few of the signs that I've been seeing. It seems like more and more of them on the outskirts of town.
The blue signs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the blue address markers, a lot of those, where we see that they're necessary, where we're putting them up, a lot of the new homeowners are coming to the station saying, hey, we've seen these around, we'd like to request one, and so we've got that available. But we've also seen that there are a lot of the existing ones that have been damaged. People have moved them, they're facing the wrong direction, or they're just illegible. So it is time, it's been quite some time, but it is time for us to do kind of a refresh. The department is purchasing a large order of new blanks and the stickers. We're going to do a major campaign here over the next month and a half to actually go out by zone through all the neighborhoods. We're going to refresh and replace ones that are damaged. We're going to place the new ones that are out there and try to touch all addresses that we can for any existing driveways that we see. And then even some of these new neighborhoods that are forming, right? You look at a driveway and all of a sudden there's 5 houses down that road.
Yeah.
We will be doing that as a proactive measure, and then hopefully by Cheese Days we'll have the bulk of that accomplished. And then we'll have them available at Cheese Days so that somebody can walk up if they don't have one or we miss them for some reason, we can make one available then. And then our website's going to be updated to have a real quick way to request one. All you have to do is provide the information, and we'll go out there in the next few days and get one put out there for you. So.
And this is no cost, and it used to be done by the Volunteers Association, but now the district's taking it over because it's a safety. So
It's a
they
safety.
previously took donations, but we can't accept them on the
Yeah, I was just on the
district, so-
website, and it just looked so, yeah, it looked real steady.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, our new website's coming over.
Oh, we did it.
Well, I was like,
But anyway, like,
oh my gosh, it's gonna get even
Well,
better.
it'd be like that one,
It'll be
yeah.
cleaner and simpler, but yeah, they'll have anybody that you know, or if they come in. I've had a few new homeowners, like builders, that said they needed it to get their permit signed off on. So I don't know if that's a city thing or a county thing, because we.
Depends
aren't
on where they
just
got them
city,
from,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But just anybody, it is, if you don't know the area and you're driving an ambulance,
Yeah.
you don't want to pass somebody's house. So-
Exactly. Every
Plus,
second matters.
Amazon appreciates it, everyone else appreciates it
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
trying to find the
Yeah.
addresses. So.
Yeah.
The blue house on the left doesn't work.
No, it does
Across
not.
from John's house.
Not anymore.
Next to the big trees.
Yes, exactly.
If I could backtrack for just a second,
Yeah.
I did want to make you aware, and I'm sure you are, that there's a public hearing on the 19th, the next meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
for
For the
the,
subdivision.
yeah, the
Care
care
homes.
subdivision. Okay.
Did you see the giant sign out there?
I appreciated that.
Did you see the sign?
It takes up half the
I did
block.
see this
It's
sign.
enormous.
Just in case we wanted to see it from space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully something we
Thank you guys for coming.
Carly's working on it.
And
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
at 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
I'm sorry?
Is that at 6?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
part of the regular planning meeting.
Okay. So we will go ahead and move on to the public comment on agenda items. Does anybody have anything? All
I
right.
had a question.
Yeah.
Actually, public, I guess, and planning both. Is your feasibility study going to look into our annexations and future UGA as far as needs? Or are they going to wait on that?
No, they are going to include that as well.
Because I
So
know,
any information.
I know
that's
you and I
available-
have talked, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a substantial residential area out 505. And you and I both probably were of the same mind that eventually you may need a substation to service that and the commercial retail that'll be out there along Highway 5, so.
It's really early, but
It is early.
we could give unofficial on our UJ expansion because we don't know if it'll get approved. But
Right.
well, approved this year, but it will in the
But
next
yeah,
couple of
as
years.
far as the actual impact, it could be a while, right? Keep an eye on it.
All right. We'll go ahead and move on to new business. So starting with resolution 293A, a resolution of the City Council of Toledo, Washington, adopting the City of Toledo cash handling policy.
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 293, City of Toledo's cash handling policy, a resolution of the City of Toledo, Washington's adopting the City of Toledo cash handling policy.
I'll second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
And go.
There are multiple errors.
They're called typos.
Typos, multiple typos. I would like to direct your attention to number 7, number 8, number 10, number 11, number 13. I have written them down. Number 10 is glaring because it's actually spelled Olson, O-L-S-O-N.
Yep.
So number 7, Citibank is not capitalized. City Hall is not capitalized. Number 8, City Treasurer is not capitalized. Mayor is not capitalized. Number 9, City Hall is not capitalized. Number 10, City Hall is not capitalized. City Treasurer is not capitalized. Utility Clerk is not capitalized. Number 11, Treasurer is not capitalized. Number 13, Department Supervisor is not capitalized.
The mayor can be
Right,
capitalized.
the mayor should be capitalized.
Only if you're talking about her specifically. The department, let's see, treasurer. It sucks when you live with an actual editor who's been through
The
editor school.
president is capitalized.
Because, well,
So
there's only
the
one of
mayor
them. There's only one of the
should be
presidents.
capitalized.
There's only one mayor for the City of Toledo.
I know, we went through semantics, you can,
So we will go through and,
yes.
and look at our
I will
grammar.
send him over if you like. We went on a 20-minute talk about this.
Aside from the,
Yes,
Mayor.
auditor's office should not be capitalized.
okay, but aside,
Treasurer should not be
Okay.
capitalized.
We get
aside
it.
from the
I'm
capitalization,
sorry.
is there any
I'm
other
sorry.
errors?
No, but it's right here.
There is a way to present your information also.
Yes, there is.
Kindness would be good.
Is there, okay, I don't mean to do it in a way that feels attacked, I just am,
Well, you did.
You did a
Okay.
good job of that, though.
I don't mean to do that in a way that feels attacked. I'm
So-
autistic.
I'd like a clarification on the petty cash. Apparently, there is a statute that says there's $100 petty cash. However, didn't the auditor say that you had to issue 2 separate ones? Are you,
Are you talking about, it's not petty cash, you're
That's
talking about our
cash
drawers. So
drawers.
we have 2 cash drawers, which we already fixed. We fixed that last month.
And they each have their own.
Right, and then there is 2 petty cash funds, and there's actually an ordinance for that. And so there's $300 for the police department and $100 for City Hall. We are supposed to have that on hand. We do have credit cards, so it probably won't necessarily get used very much, but the ordinance states that we're supposed to have it, so we have it. So they're
Do
2
you keep that
different.
petty cash in your cash drawer?
It's
or
locked
that-
up in my fireproof lockbox
so
in
your
my locked
cash
cabinet.
drawers are separate from petty
Correct.
cash?
Yeah, they're all separate. And Carly and I now have a separate cash drawer because I know that was something that the auditors were really stressing the last couple times they were out here. So
10
we
years.
we resolved it.
Okay, and is the cash drawer addressed in this
It is.
policy?
Yep.
Okay.
And those do.
And a lot of these are recommendations from the SAO too.
Well, I know, that's why I was wondering, they said you should have 2
Yep.
separate drawers, well then.
Yep, it's
we
Yeah.
need to fix
it's in
that.
there. This one's a lot because there was just so much. Like cash has to be deposited within 24 hours. Checks need to be stamped right away. There's nothing. They might have been doing that, but there was nothing in writing, so we weren't doing that because when we came in, we didn't know. So now, if I were to be hit by a bus, if you guys hired someone, they would find this policy and know exactly how to handle it. So it's all in there.
And we would have a coffee to mourn your loss.
That's.
Again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Oh, I don't feel attacked. No.
I don't mean to, it doesn't.
I would like a clarification
Yeah.
on
It's more
13
like a
reporting
whole-
losses. I'm just, the sentence, I'm just curious. Legal notification report shall also be made to the auditor, by the auditor to the prosecuting attorney. Is that the state auditor that makes?
Yeah, so technically if, there was $100 that came up missing out of one of our drawers,
Then
then if it happened, and those guidelines are in here, if it happens so many times where you're like, okay, I suspect fraud, a police report would be written, it would be sent over to Buzzard or whoever we're using at the time, and then that has to be submitted over to the auditor's office.
State
The report has to be
auditor.
made right
So
away.
it's the state auditor.
Yeah.
That's it for me. Just clarification, thanks.
Absolutely.
Did you have anything, Kathy? Eric?
No, other than actually, I think that the titles, like City Hall and City Treasurer and Clerk, Utility Clerk, are actually capitalized.
I thought so too.
I concur.
Okay.
I'll ask.
And just one further on that, I do audit their stuff as well. So there's another round of accountability there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll move on to Resolution 294A, Resolution of the City Council of the City of Toledo, Washington, adopting the refunds and adjustment policy.
I'll make a motion that we accept 294A as written.
I'll second that.
Oh, wait,
With
let me catch up and find it.
with the exception of, and I'll just admit that for the first 2 years I lived here, I thought it was Camp Olson.
Not
You know,
Kim Carlson.
And that is actually
Does it say
misspelled.
Camp?
It's misspelled. No, it's Camp Olson, but it is spelled with
It's
an E.
misspelled.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
in this one as well,
O-S-O-N.
as
Yeah.
expected.
Are
I
we
mean,
gonna-
but it is, it's
are we
Kim,
gonna-
Kim
But nobody's
Olson,
working.
Camp.
Are we gonna fix it on the other one, because we did not?
Yes.
We did not.
I noted that, and I will
Yeah.
check to see
Okay.
if the capitalizations are used correctly or incorrectly.
Thank you, I mean,
And you can add it to your words.
please do.
Yeah. The
AI.
That's a good idea.
AI
Word
spit it out
spell
like that, so.
AI spit it out like that, and I was just like,
And Word,
it's inconsistent.
a Word document will also
Yeah,
change it.
It's inconsistent when I read it, and it was just like, eek,
Do we have any discussion on it other than the fixing the Kim Olson?
I don't know. Wait a minute.
I know you did your homework.
I said wait until I catch up with you. Oh, that one's fine.
I'll check my spelling. But go over it, whatever.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll move on to Resolution 295A, Resolution of the City Council, City of Toledo, Washington, adopting the asset management policy.
I'll make a motion that we approve the City of Toledo, Washington Resolution 295A, adopting the assessment management policy.
I'll second it.
All right, moved and seconded, open for discussion.
So what about the small high-value items like welders, chainsaw, paint strippers, snowplow, et cetera, computers, radar detectors, weapons, lab equipment?
And where are you looking at?
Well, I see that this covers large items like cars, and I mean, you called
But not
out
the
buildings
small.
and cars, but not small high-value items. And I know there is a
It
small
does.
high-value item. Do we have a policy? Do
think
we
we
already
do.
have a policy on that?
If we do, it's buried.
Maybe,
yeah, there
maybe
should
it was
be a-
something I read in.
And it
the
wasn't a
SAO.
resolution and it wasn't ordinance.
Maybe it was
because I
an
searched all
SAO
of
thing I
them.
read.
It is an SAO because it's required that we
Yeah.
have this. And I'm actually working with Taryn on doing a lot of the maintenance logs and just keeping track, and I'll be because I don't know if they turned in maintenance logs for vehicles and stuff like that before. I gave everyone an Excel sheet to update their inventory. I mean, I can add something on here as far as that goes, but it's all within the,
Asset tracking?
no, the log, no, it's
No, she's talking about
Oh.
inventory.
inventory, jeez, yeah.
It's
Sounds
Monday.
Give me
Yeah.
It was in there somewhere.
Like,
So I can add something on here as far as the small stuff, but I know the SAO is mostly looking, this is what we are required to have a policy on. So as far as what we do with our screwdrivers when they break, they're not really looking at that. This is more
I
just,
wasn't
So
going
you're-
down
you're-
that.
no, no, no,
I
and I
know
know-
that, Vicky,
I know
just-
that, yeah.
I know
like a
there's a
cap.
thing on high value.
And we can put
I read an article on
we
the
can
SAO
put a
thing.
monetary value on it. I think they're
Like if we did an
I
inventory,
think it's just
everything
knowing
over
it
250 or something like
Like
that.
knowing it
Yeah.
exists.
And there is an inventory, and I have been keeping up, and I report inventory to the RMSA every year, especially on like the bigger stuff, but on anything that you can drive or, you know, that can, you know, like
The lab's
tractors.
got some expensive equipment.
Our laptop, anything IT is in there, so anything that the RMSA is seen as it's something that they're gonna insure, this covers.
Yeah,
Can we
it
look-
does, oh, sorry, it does say, all tangible assets.
Yeah.
The city will utilize an asset tracking system to maintain real-time records of all tangible assets.
Yeah, anything monetary, I mean, I can
So
put
it's-
a value on
Just kind of
it.
wanted to talk more about it.
Yeah,
Can we maybe look about numbered asset tags or something?
Yeah.
I like that
In the
idea.
Army, we have those on everything. It's just,
What do you mean?
it's
Maybe like an
it's
in-house policy?
it's a little metallic-y tag that's got a unique
Number.
number on it. and
like
then-
those ones that we ordered not long ago. We can do
It's
something like that.
I don't think it have to be the locking kind, but same concept, yeah.
I don't know if that's something that helps.
I think it would, because then it's the accountability.
Well, and even the smaller items, that's a management tool. You know, what do you have in your inventory? Oh, we better stock up on these things because we don't have them.
Right, or they don't go looking for something that broke 2 weeks before and it never got reported or whatever, yeah.
That's where your
And my
conformables come in.
question was, are all these procedures set forth manageable? Does water and sewer understand? I mean, they have extensive amounts.
Yeah, so I have been sending anything like the payroll policy because there was a little bit of changes as far as how everyone turned in their payroll. I do send everything through DocuSign. And then I do kind of note on there like, hey, you guys need to take note of this, and then it makes everybody accountable for it. Something like this, I'm going to have to sit down with Public Works. I have sat down with Taryn on this one. He kind of helped me go through some of it because there's not a lot of maintenance logs for our vehicles, and then when we get public records requests for stuff, I have to dig through boxes upon boxes.
That's
upon
a reminder.
boxes.
I noticed that our fuel, he's gone now. Our PD fuel is slightly through the roof.
Yes.
Could we maybe add, since you're the TAC person I'm talking to, could we maybe add as part of the monthly report?
I already added tags, so as
the
of
miles consumed so that we can find out how we went through $5,000 worth of fuel?
Yep, so part of their maintenance logs will have all the mileage logged because they actually need to take them in. They should be checking their windshield wiper fluid, and I mean, just same thing as someone with a CDL does. You do your 15-minute pre-check, and then I have added tags so we can see who's using what fuel and what officer it's going to, so we can have better record of that too.
So I did before we move on from the Public Works, I talked with the mayor earlier this year, and I also spoke with John, and he is interested in getting back to the way you should be running the plant, which is more proactive maintenance rather than reactive maintenance, because it's 75% cheaper to do proactive
And there's a
maintenance.
budget.
And there's a massive amount of work to do.
Yep.
And whoever said that was absolutely right. That, I mean, they've got thousands of items.
And I think a lot of this stuff we can, there's stuff that can be surplus. This back here is madness, but that all falls into this. And if we start getting rid of stuff without a policy in place and the SAO looks into it, then they're coming back on us like, well, what policy did you follow to get rid of this? So again, this puts it in place. We can always review policies again at the end of the year if we want to add or change or anything. But right now, at least this, because we've just entered into our audit. So I'm already dealing with the auditors for 22, 23, and 24. I'm already in contact. It's already started. So we need policies. So if you guys want changes, I don't mind changing them. We just need to make sure that we've got these in place and we're following them.
Great.
Do we have any,
Yes.
okay.
And as in regard to the reports and stuff, what's that going to look like and who else sees those?
What reports? Like the maintenance reports?
It references quarterly asset reports.
Yep, so I have those. I can get you a copy. I thought I put one in there. I didn't. So I actually have reports that they will fill out. If there's anything damaged, if they see that money is needed for maintenance, like Taryn came to me the other day and said, hey, I need an oil change. So these quarterly reports I will send out for each department. They will fill them out and say, hey, I'm going to need this much money for maintenance. And then there are maintenance logs that they will be filling out and turning in, and we'll make record for them. Again, because every every vehicle should have a more detailed record of mileage and fuel used and whenever,
Maintenance.
tires, I mean, anything. And so it's just kind of all over the place right now, and it's not easily accessed.
Well, and also it would be supported when they put their budgets together.
Correct. Yeah, and that's just it. We can kind of look like, hey, Taryn's getting oil changes every other month, so we're going to need this much money for his vehicle. He got tires this year. He shouldn't need them next year. So there's not good information to go back and look for them to put them together. So there's a lot more quarterly reports being done now as far as auditing for ourselves internally.
It would be nice if we could have some exposure to that. That way it's not we come to budgeting time.
And that's something we can turn in quarterly with everything.
That'd be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just supplemental, coming in as
Yeah.
supplemental.
Yeah, surprise, digest this all at once and then do your budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. On to Resolution 296A, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Toledo, Washington, adopting the policy for participation in the local government investment pool.
I would make a motion that we approve 296A with modifications.
I'll second it.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
So let's see, I think that submit quarterly reports on interest earned to City Council. I'd like to actually see the beginning balance, deposits, withdrawals, interest, and ending balance as part of that report. Kind of assumed it'd be part of a report, but I think you have all those in the
So if
LePage
we
form.
make any withdrawals or deposits, those would be brought to council right away.
Yeah, just kind of an idea so we can, so historically,
Like a bank statement?
yeah,
Okay.
historically, LePage has been hidden from council
Right.
vehemently, and trying to
So
bring.
quarterly statements.
Yeah, so it's kind of what you already, the quarterly report would be kind of expected to have that already.
Yeah, because it would show, I do the cash and investment, it would show any in or out per
Yeah.
fund.
I also think that so that modifies the treasurer's roles and also the procedures. I'd also like to talk about a council approval for a withdrawal over a certain amount.
That's fine, yeah, originally we had it done like that, and then we're not really supposed to go we're not able to go negative in any fund. That 101, I figured out the issue, and so technically we're not negative on it, but there's another one that we're negative, and so in a situation like that, we were just like, it might be easier to just have the mayor direct
You do
it.
that on transfer, that's absolutely
Yeah.
fine, that's very different. I just would hate to have you come and say, oh, by the way, we just took 150 grand out of.
Right, so I'm totally good with
LePage.
with like 20K or 10, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I just threw a number in, whatever council wants to talk about. I put a big high number in, but I probably ought to do lower. So then I was going to leave that to you to tell me what, I don't see us having an emergency. We carry enough in our checking account, but you're not going to be able to go 2 weeks without pulling out
Right.
50K.
Right.
And then on that same area, I'd like to make sure that any withdrawals are reported to City Council, even if it's under that limit at the next meeting.
That should be in here.
Yeah, I thought I saw something like
Yep,
that.
any transfers, anything that's done in the LGIP is reported at the next meeting. It does say that in there.
And I also think we should.
Withdrawals,
call it
transfers,
LePage.
even
We should
deposits.
call it. So in that too, when we post our quarterly stuff, is there a way that like when all that stuff gets posted out for the public to see too, that they can see like how many
Yeah.
transfers or withdrawals are done too?
Well, they wouldn't see how many, but you can see by quarterly if money was moved into an investment or out of an investment, you can see it.
I'm just wondering if there's any way for us to make it so that we could put, like a number of, hey, this many transfers had to happen. Just, again, like we've discussed, just having the
Yeah, we wouldn't
transparent-
make very many transfers,
Okay.
but hopefully we don't have to touch
any of
it at all. It's
Okay.
only going to be in an emergency, so
Okay.
Yeah,
it would be maybe 1 or 2 a year, I would think.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I think there's one little typo.
Is it the same as I saw?
Under responsibilities for mayor. it
Yes,
says-
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to say any instead of report
Right.
any
And.
transfers. Report any transfers.
Which
Yes.
number are you looking at?
Uh, Responsibilities,
city
and then
treasurer,
Okay.
and then go down.
A why?
Thing.
Yeah.
Before we move
Instead
too
of-
far away from
Yes.
Eric, did you want to set an amount?
Yes.
Yeah, let's send them out.
Under 25K, over 25K?
30,000?
That was way higher than I was gonna say.
Yeah, and everything will be reported right away anyways, but I don't mind doing an amount for approval.
I was thinking
It's like
15.
20K was probably
You know more than I do.
So
20.
20.
Let's do 20.
20? Okay.
So 20K approval, just for withdrawals.
So that's gonna be another line item then? Is that what we're discussing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I had something on section 2 on interest earned and allocated. Just for historical reasons, I would like it to be added, ending, so that originated on a pro rata basis. So add on a pro rata basis to procedures 2, bullet 1. Even happens.
Could you restate that?
I'd like to make it obvious that we're applying our interest in a pro rata basis amongst the funds in the
Oh.
pool.
So do it right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Do we have any further discussion?
Yeah, that should be added in there. Definitely.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We are on to the special events permit for
Question.
Donna.
Didn't we already do this one?
No.
I thought we did
Not
this
for
Donna.
I thought we did this one
We
for
did.
Donna.
We did the
We did.
special events.
Last year.
We did New Chimneys, Altahana.
Oh, we did
Altahana.
Altahana, okay.
I just stopped calling it New Chimneys.
I like new chimneys.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve Donna Wallace's Music in the Street for July 12th and 11th, 12th, and 13th.
I'll second that. I was hoping she was going to be here so I could confirm that her speakers were going to again be pointed north.
So I already made a letter that's going out for everybody. So it'll be like, hey, your event got approved per council. Please turn your speakers. So it will be addressed for every special event application moving forward.
Okay. Sorry, Rebecca. Actually, you're farther away. There's houses that are a lot farther away from
Yes.
pointing north.
No, I set up my chair in the
I'm
back
sorry,
yard.
who seconded this?
Who
Eric
seconded?
you seconded it.
No,
Emily.
he went, Emily, Eric seconded, thank you.
Yep. So,
So, from your words, alcohol has to be in a fenced area.
Correct.
This permit does not have fenced area.
She will have it fenced in.
I thought
She has those pop-up fences.
She always has it.
Yeah.
She always has them. I can have her write it in because, but yeah, I did ask her because she had to bring her
I think
cert.
she's filled several of these out
Yeah.
before, so she should be
Yeah.
filling them out correctly.
Yeah.
Her Washington alcohol permit requires it as well.
Yep. Yeah, and she even has security checking IDs at the door the last 2 years, I think. So and there's people standing, so no one's coming or going.
But she has a little thing here, like
Yeah, it's shown in the graph. It's just she didn't
Yeah.
put it on the.
It's shown visually, but it is.
do we have any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Donna is good to go. So we will move on to the Vision Toledo special events permit.
Make a motion that we approve the special event permit for Vision Toledo's Wine and Cheese tasting.
I'll second that.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded.
You know, I was originally going to ask why, but then I realized they're serving alcohol.
Yeah.
And cheese.
Yeah, that's alcohol.
And they have a fenced area.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do. Do we have any further discussion?
Hold on.
Was that the yes?
So can we? I need him to come in and sign it. So before it gets approved, you might want to someone amend that.
Did he
comes.
not?
Nope. So.
I thought, okay, so.
It does need to get pushed through because we have to respond to
Got
that
it. Oh,
liquor
that's
license,
right.
but someone should probably
Yes,
say.
so it needs to be amended because it does need to be signed by the head of Vision Toledo.
So I'll make a motion that we approve it based on his signature.
Mike, come down and sign it.
I'll second that amended motion.
Okay. Oh, the mayor is the head of Vision Toledo, actually. So, be it known to all, including the mayor.
Yeah, he's the one that did the special event. He came in and filled out the
Finally.
application, so.
So, you, all you do is sign it.
So why are you the head of Vision Toledo?
That was not in the brochure when I,
It's a grandfathered in position.
yeah, it is. I did not know that until a month or two in. I was like,
Can she sign a hold harmless agreement for the city being
No.
the mayor? I need Mike to sign it,
It's
yeah.
actually kind of a conflict.
It is,
yeah.
that was
It's
a
a big
joke.
Yeah, I was like-
conflict, and I would say you shouldn't be.
You can be a dotted line,
This is when small towns
Chief
get
Poobah.
fun.
but not the,
can I get the
you
little?
can be dotted line,
Okay.
but yeah.
All right, so, it's been amended, moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Come down, Mike.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
So we're also, sorry, we're also approving this, the liquor license. It's the temporary one.
Yeah, I think we
Okay,
kind
yeah,
of
that's-
assumed it was
yeah,
for
it's
the
all
booze.
together.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, so last one under new business is Tom Martin water leak request.
I will make a motion that we approve Tom Martin's water leak request.
I'll second that.
Has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah,
So-
I'd like you to explain it to me.
He had a leak, and he came in, followed policy. Basically, he had a licensed plumber look at it, fix it. He called Public Works. They came down, looked at the work, approved it. And so he just filled out the forgiveness letter, basically.
So is he getting a refund?
No, so I just had him, because of the delinquencies were going out, I told him if he would just pay his normal base rate, because that's what it's going to do. It's all we're doing is approving the overage as a credit back, not a refund. So he paid his base rate. So right now it shows that he owes like $200 and something. So we'll just go in
Is it
and
227.10?
yeah, we'll go in. Yep, Carly's got it on there. 270. He paid 277.05. So whatever the difference is.
$241.99.
You could.
Wait,
and-
really?
Yeah, that's the difference. I did it at home.
Oh, I just did the difference between 302.
No,
I
so
just-
his
I just actually calculated he was over by 75,700.
so his total bill was 519.04, and his normal bill is 277.05. And Carly's looking into why it's 277.05 because that's an odd number. But so we're just basically crediting the overage back to him. But he's
So we should confirm what that is. I went and looked, and his normal consumption at that address is 32 to 3,800 gallons every 2 months.
He
So-
does have a larger pipe than
oh, that's why it was
because
that's why
his
his bill was
forces it
different.
up the hill.
That's right. That's why his was different.
It's a residential though.
I
didn't
know,
think
John
we-
doesn't
I
understand
didn't
why
think we
either.
billed residentials at a higher rate.
I don't know, but
Well, maybe that's something to talk about when we have our meeting.
yes.
So I did notice also in the February billing, he was over, which is abnormal for that account.
Right, so that's when his leak came in, and so he came in for his last bill. He paid the first one, didn't get it taken care of right away, but he got it taken care of in his bill
Oh, so he knew what was happening and didn't do it?
Yep, so we
Okay,
send out
never
leak,
mind.
yeah, we send out leak letters.
Okay,
and
I was gonna
so-
suggest we refund that portion too, but if he knew about it,
Yeah.
then never mind.
Yep, and I can verify
Those
that he
were
got a
$6.
leak letter, but she's, yeah.
And not to be a stickler, but in the old code book, 8-4-60, letter C, it says the excess over the average consumption for the premise for the last year or length of occupancy will be charged at the special rate of 1/4 of the current overage rate per thousand, which would be 75 cents.
Yeah,
Are we just?
I don't think
gonna
that,
give
that doesn't,
this came out in 21.
that sounds old.
Yeah, very old. This is 2021. This is the new policy for,
Okay,
yeah,
that's all I need to know.
so we gotta codify it.
So in the framework of auditors, how are you documenting this?
Every adjustment we make, and again, it's in that refund and adjustment policy, every
I was gonna say,
single.
we just approved an adjustment.
Yeah, every single adjustment that's made has to be approved. It lays it out in that policy, and then we do keep a binder of it. The one thing that is gonna be an issue in 23 is when all those accounts went crazy back in 22, and people were being double charged. They were, all of that. Devin came in and fixed them, and she credited everything back where it belonged. The instructions that were left for us was just you're going to do an adjustment. So we did it as a credit memo. And we were never told we had to go back in and fix the account. And that's why we had, 4 to 6 months of people, and everyone's straight now, but there's, up until like June, there's a large chunk of refunds that just went back to credit memo. And so I have to make a Excel template, and we're going to have to move some adjustments around. And I've already written a letter. It's in my notes for the annual report, the issue, so they're already aware of it. We just want to get money moved back to where it needs to be before they actually.
Why'd you look at me when you said Excel template?
Because you're Dr. Excel.
I was wondering because, like I said, it had to be explained what we're doing here, because I don't see it in this letter, and I don't see it
It was a little
on the
subtle.
bill. So,
Yeah, so that's the policy, just states that we're just gonna credit their account back to what the normal bill normally is. So if their bill's normally $267.10 and it's $800, we're gonna just bring them back to $267.10. And if they fix it themselves, we're not doing it. They have to actually have a licensed plumber come in, and then Public Works has to come in and sign off on it. So there's some hoops to jump through. And there's a lot of people that we've turned down because they're like, oh, my brother-in-law came out and did it. And we're like, yeah, no, sorry. So.
okay, so what I would like to see is maybe somewhere on this bill that we're crediting the difference.
Definitely, yep.
So it should be 302.04 minus the standard rate, because that's what water was, 302.04. So that is where all the overage sits.
Well, and in utility taxes.
Oh, I'm sorry, then you gotta back the taxes off.
Yep. Yeah, so we're just refunding the water and the utility taxes is all we're doing. And then we're still printing it out and keeping record for the auditors, and it's signed off by somebody. Okay. So everybody's responsible for it, not just me.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. On to unfinished business, ordinance 801.
I make a motion. Sorry.
An ordinance of the City of Toledo, Washington, creating a designated fund for hotel and motel tax revenues to be used exclusively for promoting tourism as required by RCW 67.28.1816. This is the second reading.
I second.
Can I get a
You're gonna
first?
make a motion?
No, you just did.
No, she didn't.
No, she
I can't make a
Oh, I
motion.
so move.
I'll second.
Okay.
Can I ask a question on this one?
Yes.
How many are participating in paying this hotel and?
It's Kemp Olson,
Yeah.
not Olson, and
And one air.
and an Airbnb in town, yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody that comes in that does an Airbnb, or if someone were to open up a motel, that's where it would be coming from.
Okay.
And it's normally like
Yeah,
$200 a month or something like that.
and Kim Olson's is,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, and the tax on it is 4% that we're getting back
okay.
in taxes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you have any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. On to other business. This is where we will let Todd speak about the boundary modification for the annexation.
Thank you, council. Put my video back on here.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. We got a communication from Lewis County on the annexation that council adopted actually quite some time ago, and they were notified by their own public works department that the public works department was requesting that the VRB's jurisdiction be invoked because we had not included a portion of right-of-way in the annexation. Let me see if I can share my screen. I believe you might. Oh, I can't share my screen, but I believe you all have the maps. Yes, Cindy can allow me to share my screen.
And we have the maps.
Okay, let me.
They want to collect another years of property taxes.
Here we go. Can you see that map?
Yes.
And the cursor, so this area highlighted in yellow of Toledo Vader Road was not included in the annexation because the city only butts up against half of it. And when we discussed this with the county initially, it was only those areas of the road that were completely surrounded by city that would have been included. We also haven't included Plamondon Road, but in this case, the County Public Works had correctly pointed out that Toledo Vader, this portion, would become sort of a stranded stretch of county right-of-way surrounded by city right-of-way on either side. So because of that, the County Public Works Department was likely to request that the BRB invoke their jurisdiction, which means months more of process, means the BRB then would have hearings on it and then discuss whether or not the annexation was appropriate. The BRB, the Boundary Review Board, which is the BRB, may come up with other issues. They may come up with other questions. We don't know what that group might do, but I think it's likely that they would probably see the wisdom in including that section of Toledo Vader Road in the annexation and agree with the Public Works Department. So because this is a modification of the annexation area, I did want to bring it back to council just to get everybody's input on it. It seems like a valid request. It seems like something that maybe we should have included to begin with. It didn't fit the criteria, which is why it wasn't included. But we didn't really look at that concept of, yes, this would then become an orphaned portion of Toledo Vader surrounded by city portions. So I just wanted to bring that up for discussion and input tonight. The close of the 45-day comment period is the 7th, which is Friday. If we can communicate back to the Public Works Department and the county that, yes, we will include that in our annexation boundary, then the county will not invoke the BRB's jurisdiction in this matter, and we can skip all the hearings and finalize the annexation. But if council so desires, we can go through the process and make our best argument as to why that shouldn't be included as well. So
It sounds like your recommendation is that we do.
yeah, my recommendation is that we do include that in the boundary and we conclude the annexation process. There's been no other notifications to the county about other people requesting BRB jurisdiction. So in this case, the 45-day comment period would lapse if we agree to include this, and then the county would begin notifying the state that the city limits had changed and Boundary Review Board had not been invoked for jurisdiction, and then we'd be able to get this on the tax rolls next year.
Okay, Kathy has a question.
Well, you're saying that portion of Toledo Vader Road, it would be surrounded by city, but it's not because the people.
But it's cut off there, right, at Plamondon and Toledo Vader. See how so we own that intersection of Toledo Vader and Plamondon, which gives them the ability to say, you have to take that stretch as well, which makes sense to me.
We have to take
From Plamondon down to into town.
into town. Even though on the other side of the road there.
There's a benefit to that because, they're going to be messing with that as they do the pipe, and we'll have control of it instead of the county.
So that the properties that are not annexed just don't have a say in anything, because they border that first property.
Yeah, they'll have to drive through city limits to get to their house, yes. I think there's like 2 houses there.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the Buswell and the gentleman that was here last council meeting.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we accept the stretch of road from Plamondon into town onto Toledo Vader as part of the annexation.
I think we're gonna have to.
I'll second that.
That has been moved and seconded. Do we have any further discussion on it?
I just,
Yeah, I'm a little confused,
Mm-hmm.
because I thought he said we couldn't do it because,
We didn't have to do it. It's more of a don't have to than can't.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Once you occupy both sides, you have no choice but to take it.
Yeah, that's correct. The annexation policies dictated by the state say once you have both sides, you can't leave the street out. So that's why those portions of Toledo Vader were included in there. Otherwise, we would have liked to leave them all out and just take the property, but that wouldn't have been allowed. So in this case, it is a discretionary thing, but I think that if we do take it to Boundary Review Board, they'd likely side with the county and make us take it anyway. The Boundary Review Board actually has authority to expand our annexation at their discretion, and they don't have to ask the neighbors or the city in order to make that happen. They just approve it. The only recourse that we would have is to just decide we don't want to file the annexation at that point. So
And
it's not likely we would win an argument to not include Toledo Vader, in my opinion.
and if we argue about it, we miss another year's property taxes.
I just want to point out that it is a major highway, and we will need to get our ducks in a row to make sure that it is well maintained.
That's been a discussion too.
Because a lot of people drive on it, and a lot of people drive on Plumondon, and so these roads are, if we're gonna annex these in, then we need to probably start now and develop a maintenance schedule for the future. That would be my only.
Todd, when we had that meeting, if I remember right, they said that we would have at least
Saving now.
probably close to 7 years before there would need to start really being heavy maintenance on it.
That's what their public works department is saying, is that they've recently done a resurface on the road. They didn't have that much information on the bridge that crosses the creek, but they did tell us that the maintenance liabilities on that road for the city for the next foreseeable future of seven years was probably going to be minimal, because they had at some time in the recent past, in the recent 5 to 7 years, done a pavement overlay on it already, and it was in relatively good condition. So there should be no immediate maintenance needs. There will be an enforcement change, since that section of road will be in the city. It'll be within the city's jurisdiction for policing. So I don't know how much that changes the discussion, but maybe we should consider that as well. But as I say, I don't believe that there's an argument to be made to not include it in the annexation area. I think we could spend time, effort, and money arguing it with the BRB, but I don't know that we'd be successful.
There's also some positives, as I don't know if I was clear enough when I said that. As they go to tear that up to put in the sewer line, it's now us that's watching out for it rather than the county. So we have the ability to make sure it's done to our liking, not the county's liking, which I actually think is a nice change.
Once the annexation is finalized, it will take the county out of the review process for the subdivision out there. That's true. Except for the portion of the water line that still goes down Plumondon, but
That's fine.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. You're good to go, and let them know we are all right to take it.
thank you. I'll let the county know.
Thank you for being on top of that, Todd. Sorry, Mayor.
All right, so we'll move along. We have no executive sessions. Do we have any public input tonight?
Briefly,
Yes.
just a question. Are we going to want to look at the impact fee structure for traffic impact fees that we did not look at prior?
That might be a good idea if we're taking on that stretch.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we essentially need to start a fund for ourselves to eventually maintain that. And whereas the traffic study was done by Red Rock at the time, saw no instance where they needed to do anything, we're taking on a whole nother section of road that we normally wouldn't have had to maintain, and ultimately will have to, which borders their property. Is that something that we would be in a position Or will we have to wait until we go to Jolma?
Todd, do you have an opinion on that?
I think he got his okay and left.
I'm still here. I just turned my screen. I was actually hammering out an email to Preston to let him know that council had accepted the request. So,
Nice.
I'm sorry, I might have missed a portion of that. What was the question?
It was the, go ahead.
Well, Todd, what I was asking was, previously the traffic studies that were done by the Red Rock group indicated that no impact fees really were required based on their traffic studies. And now we're taking on another half section of roadway that fronts their property. Is that something that we could reopen as far as investigating for impact fees to start building a fund for when we do have to maintain that road? And of course, we would probably also have those same fees applied to the Jolma subdivision when they come on board. Or have we missed the carts on Red Rock?
So on Cowlitz Meadows subdivision, we've missed our opportunity on that to assess them any sort of fee for maintenance on that road. On Jolma and the annexation area, we could certainly apply an impact fee to them. Impact fees, though, can't be used for maintenance. They can only be used for new infrastructure. So it would have to be some form of a mitigation measure or a tax, and we'd have to tie that directly back to some sort of a maintenance need that was identified. So we can adopt a transportation impact fee, but even in doing that, we can only improve. We can widen streets with that. We can add sidewalks. We can do those things with that money, but we can't do normal road maintenance with impact fees.
And Red Rock is improving that road on the south side
They are.
with sidewalk.
And what I was getting at was eventually we may want to widen that bridge to make it more pedestrian safe as more people grow in that area. And we probably could use those funds for that, right?
That's correct. You could use impact fees for that.
I think we're gonna have to be on our toes when it gets to the point where they're putting that sidewalk down from the bottom tip of their property into town to make sure that it is compatible with our future. So, Todd, it sounds like Planning Commission and you should probably be looking at what's that gonna look like and what is that sidewalk gonna look like and how does that go in so that it expands well with us. I think there's a ditch that's going to happen between the two, right? Because they have to have a separator. And
yeah, I actually do have those drawings here. I could pull them up as to what's proposed. The county was reviewing that, but now it would be Mike Johnson that reviews what they're proposing, and then it comes back to the city for final approval.
I think
it doesn't go through another public hearing process, but since Mike is working on it, he will definitely get input before he approves a pedestrian way across the bridge.
Yeah, I think we can let you do that with Planning Commission rather than bring something up now.
Yeah, and because this is changing jurisdiction, I think we could bring that back to Planning Commission, but we've already conditioned them to provide a safe pedestrian access, but they've demonstrated that to the county. But as this gets annexed, the county doesn't have the jurisdiction to say yes anymore, so we could take that to Planning Commission. I'll let Mike know that too.
I was more referring to having Toledo start to plan for what do we want that to look like in 10 years so that when Red Rock does start to do those improvements that they're compatible.
Yeah, and that would be part of our transportation improvement plan that is part of our 2025 comprehensive plan update. So we could identify the need for bridge widening and pedestrian safety in that, and then assess an impact fee through that.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Where are our talks over impact fees? Is somebody else taking that over? Because I noticed the fire department is doing their thing, but where are we at on ours?
That will come up again when we start talking to Jolma about what they want to do.
I think that you're referencing the workshop that we had, and at that time, I think we tabled it pending the results of the school board doing their comprehensive study, or excuse me, the Parks Board doing their comprehensive study, and the fire department doing theirs. The school district has completed theirs according to them, and I think that was the only thing that was holding us up on that.
So those will all be part of the comprehensive plan process, the 2025 periodic update that we're now engaged in. So that's part of it is zoning and land use. Other parts are the urban growth boundary expansion that we're discussing. And then what we also need to demonstrate is that we have the capital facilities to serve all of that. And so Mike Johnson will put together the water and the sewer and the transportation elements of that plan. And then with that, there'll be a cost for the road improvements that are needed. And then based on that, the city can then say, okay, well, this is the cost of the improvements that are needed to handle the growth. We're going to start assessing a transportation impact fee. And then at that same time, you can choose to adopt the schools, the parks, and the fire capital facilities plan as part of your comprehensive plan. And then you can collect their impact fees and then funnel them back to them. That's the way all those programs fit together, but they're all part of the 2025 comp plan, which will now conclude in December of 2025. The state's pushed back the deadline from June to December of 25 to get that concluded. So all that stuff will come up next year, and you'll see packages of things from the city. And then we've been also trying to coordinate with the school and the fire district to make sure that they've got their elements completed in time so that we can incorporate them into our comprehensive plan. Yet otherwise, we'd have to do a comprehensive plan update, or we could choose to keep adopting SEPA conditions, mitigation measures, as we have on Cowlitz Meadows. We applied the school impact fee that they had adopted on Cowlitz Meadows through a SEPA mitigation measure. So that was how that happened, and that's a valid way of doing it too. Although it's better if you just adopt their capital facilities plan as part of your comprehensive plan, and then assess an impact fee and charge it that way.
Perfect, thank you. That make sense?
Sure. Works for me.
Do we have any other public input tonight? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
Hallelujah.
Thanks, Todd.